Rich Tarani here with TMC. Thanks for watching. We're at ITEXPO 2014. We're in Las Vegas, Nevada. And on our program is Carlos Aragon. He is with Genband. Carlos, welcome to the show.
Hey, welcome.
So tell me a little bit about what's happening at Genband these days.
Okay, so well, a lot of things are happening with Genband these days. We just had a couple of months ago our user group with our customers Perspectives 14. It was really big. We presented a lot of new things in there, a couple of things that we're still not announcing globally, so I'm going to keep those because it's a big surprise that we're preparing for next month. But so far it's a lot of activity in the company. As you know, we're doing a lot of things in the WebRTC domain. We've done a huge push on enterprise with our new enterprise solutions teams. And in particular here in ITEXPO, we're talking about some of the things we're doing in enterprise. Our CMO, Brad Bush, is presenting on Wednesday. Our Director of Application Solutions, Greg Strike, is also presenting here. We have a lot of new things that we want to present to the enterprise market because there is a lot of things to be done in unified communications and enterprise in general.
And recently had the big rollout of the Candy initiative, which is quite fascinating.
Well, that's actually one of the surprises. Yeah, it's been announced in Perspectives in theory to just like our customers. We're preparing a big launch for next month.
Very exciting.
We're going to open it to the entire developer ecosystem. Everybody's going to be able to go there, create a developer account, and be able to start playing with the APIs and developing stuff. But Candy is actually a good way to provide a platform as a service so that web developers can go there and complement their applications, their web pages, their web services with communications in a very simple and easy to let's say, easy to embed into an app. It's basically going to have to go there, you get some lines of code, you insert it in your page, and literally in 5 minutes you can have communication embedded in your website.
That's really great. So we were talking a little bit earlier about how Genband acquired the carrier division of Nortel, and it was really like a David acquiring Goliath. And I was at your conference, Genband Perspectives, a couple months ago back in Orlando, and I had the opportunity to interview some of your customers. Mm-hmm. And without them knowing who I was, I just happened to be at the tables and just talking to them and asking. And there was a lot of happiness among the customers that were concerned that Nortel was being acquired, and you know the circumstances especially, but they turned out to be very happy with the acquisition, the way things turned out, and also the forward path. So I wanted to say congratulations. You want to give us any insight on how that's progressing?
Well, it's progressing really well. I think one of the reasons why it's working so well is because when Genband acquired the Nortel assets, the first thing that was done is all the executives started like this roadshow throughout the world, visiting our customers and reassuring them that Genband was going to invest in the product that they had acquired from Nortel. It was not an acquisition just to get customers and convert them to a new platform. All of them who had the former A2E from Nortel or the CS2000 were going to be supported, and as a result we still have the C20 product, which is the new name we gave to the CS2K. It's a new name, but it's also a new development with the Genius platform based on ATCA with a lot of investment in there. For the A2E, it was renamed the Experience Application Server, which we have in our portfolio today. It's actually the cornerstone, one of the cornerstones of Candy. It's the call session controller inside Candy, the application server inside Candy. And all of those gateways and services that we were supporting back then were supported all on the way, and for very limited amount of products that were going end of life, because when they were acquired from Nortel, they were already like, you know, in the exit door. We provided them with a smooth migration, and in between, we've been doing acquisitions that have actually enhanced and you know, provided more strength to the solutions that our customers could do. For example, with the acquisition of Aztec for the line gateways to be able to migrate as part of our network transformation story, or the acquisition of UReach recently and Fring, which actually provide a way to allow the service providers and the enterprises to kind of play in the same league that the OTTs are playing today. They can just launch an application for collaboration either on the consumer space in the case of Fring, although we also have a value for small and medium businesses and for enterprises that want to go mobile and not really get that complicated, or with UReach in our particular case where you can have solutions for second line or for messaging or for collaboration in the enterprise that you can basically deploy in the cloud. And all of those things are actually integrated as part of the cloud in Candy. Fring and UReach are embedded in there.
Now, when I speak to David Welsh, your CEO, he's got an amazing vision about how the community or the future of telecom is going to play out, how it's moving to the cloud, how there's an investment cycle, which he calls a fish, where there's a lot of investment and then declining revenue in terms of the way it's booked and in terms of the way it comes in, because it's more of a hosted or a cloud-based model as opposed to big chunks of money for large amounts of equipment, and it takes a while to come up and get your earnings back up to recoup that investment, and you know how Genband is further along that cycle, and he articulates that really well to the press and his vision. I'm curious, do you guys get a chance to speak with him as well? Does he impart that vision on you guys internally?
We get a chance to speak with him very often. He has this global information session. In fact, we had one last week, just before we came here, and he repeated again the same message to the employees. He actually showed that very same chart, letting them know that we are in a process of transformation. Even though, every year you mention the word transformation, the next year there is another transformation, but the enterprise and the telecommunication business is always in flux. But he was reassuring the employees that the strategy we've been doing, it's not only his. I mean, it's he's doing it together with the product teams, with R&D, with all our sales teams, and he reassured us as employees that it's the right thing to do, and that's the right thing to make Genband relevant in the new world that's coming. And there's going to be a lot of decisions that are going to have to be made, changes and tough decisions in terms of which products are supported, where we are investing, which because resources are limited. We're going to have to focus on which things we do.
Of course.
And that doesn't mean that we're going to be like cutting heads or something like that. It really means that some people may want to do something, and we're going to have to tell them, you know what, that's not the strategy, that's not the direction we need to do. We need to invest our resources in this other solution. So, but in general, everybody's on board. We're actually, I don't think there is any dissent in terms of trusting David and his strategy, and we're just looking forward to see it happen.
That's great. On that note, I want to say thank you. Is there anything else that we missed that you want to share with? I know you've got a bunch of stuff under embargo.
Oh, we have a bunch of stuff. We were
which
going to talk.
I was actually briefed on some of it, so it's very frustrating. So when I ask you about it, but we have to wait until September.
Well, we already talked about Candy. The only thing we didn't mention, which is also part of Candy, is our Spider WebRTC gateway, which WebRTC is kind of one of the buzzwords here in ITEXPO this year, and we're pioneers in WebRTC. But what I really want to say for the audience we have in here is that we need to pay close attention on the enterprise space to WebRTC, because it's not it's not a business model per se. It's an enabling technology,
Sure.
But it has a lot of potential to change many ways of how we do things. It has a lot of potential to change the way we interact in customer centers, in customer support, in banking, in all of these places where you need to capture the attention of a customer, but also from within the company when you need to provide support as an IT expert to your employees. It's also a very good way inside the intranet to be able to provide access to help whenever you need it, with a chance to have a call exactly where you need it. So.
It reminds me of a commercial that BASF used to have, which was, we don't make the things you use every day, but we make them better.
Yeah.
So I'm paraphrasing the commercial because it's been a while since I've heard it, but yeah, it's what WebRTC does. So I agree with you on that. And
initially, WebRTC, what it will do, it will change, it will replace some applications we use today, and it basically, you put it in the network today, it will look at something you do today with one tool, and now you'll do it with WebRTC. But as time goes by, WebRTC will actually come up with new ways to use things that we never thought before because we never had the chance. So it's a great opportunity.
that's awesome. Thanks again for being on the program.
Thank you for having me.